Hello everybody, it's Paul Nisa with Torah Life Ministries, and I'm getting so many people, Christians pretty much, knocking my videos saying, well, you know, we don't have to keep the law, or we don't have to do the works because we got grace. And because you have grace, there's a reason to do the works, folks. Some people just don't get it, they just don't understand, and what it really comes down to is, you know, we're not saved by works, we're saved by the blood of Messiah, but if we're truly saved, we should have every desire to do His works. And we have to understand that. You know, we have to understand the importance of keeping the guidelines and instructions that our Creator gave us and Yeshua told us to follow. And this is what we need to do. What I've been saying a lot lately and what I feel good saying, what people need to understand is we're not saved by keeping Torah, but because we're saved, we should be keeping Torah. Do you understand? Because you've accepted Yeshua as your Messiah, you should want to be a follower of the way He told us to live. And He told us to keep the guidelines and instructions of His Father. He told us to do the works. He told us to act a certain way to produce good fruit. And He told us the tree that produces bad fruit can never produce good fruit. Well, what is a good tree and a bad tree? It's very clearly defined in Scripture. A good tree is a tree that's obedient and following the instructions of the Word of the Scriptures. Now, some people might say, well, we have grace, and automatically when we accept Yeshua as our Messiah, we find out that we live according to the way He wanted us to live. Well, I say, if you don't know how He wants you to live, how do you know you're living the way He wanted you to live? Yes, your heart might be pure, and you might have pure intentions in what you're doing, but if you don't know what breaking the law is, or if you don't know what being disobedient is, how do you know you're being obedient? In other words, ask yourself, everybody, what is sin? What is sin? And when you find out sin means transgression of the law, or transgression of the Torah, transgression of the guidelines, transgression of the Scripture, well, you have to know what the Scriptures say to know what sin is. So how do you know if you're still sinning or not? Can somebody be saved and still be sinning? Well, there are a lot of people that think they're saved, but they do lip service and accept Yeshua with their heart, but they continuously practice and live a daily life of intentional sin. And the Scriptures tell us that, you know, grace isn't going to take away our sin. It's supposed to take away our sinful nature. So obviously, if we're living in sin on a regular basis on purpose, our sinful nature has not been taken away. And if we don't know the guidelines and instructions, we don't know if it's been taken away or not. We have to understand the Scriptures and understand what it's saying. Does that mean we can be perfect and never sin again? No. Yeshua is the only one that can fulfill that. But because we have grace, we don't have to worry about when we sin unintentionally. But we can certainly do a lot better than we're doing saying, oh, we can continue going around breaking Torah, breaking the word of our Creator because we are saved and have grace. That's not the message of the Scriptures. And people's thinking has been messed up, and people are deceived today by the churches out there because that's what they think. It's a false gospel. They think once they accept Yeshua, their life is going to be wonderful. And in more words than one, it gives them an excuse to live in sin. That's right. I said if you are one of those so-called people that say we have the blood of Messiah to clean us and heal us and we have His grace, we don't have to follow the Torah, you are essentially saying, well, you know, I have Yeshua, so it's an excuse that I can keep living in sin. And that's what you're ultimately saying. And if you say your heart has changed once you accept Yeshua, well, I know a lot of people that have accepted Yeshua, but they're certainly not living according to the way Yeshua told people to live. And if you read the Bible, you'll find that very out to be the truth as well. So when you accept Yeshua Messiah, remember the Scriptures say, ask and obey, and you shall receive. And action must take place. You're to love what He loves and hate what you once loved when you were living in the flesh. It's essential you understand this. We are not perfect, folks, and that's why we have the grace of Messiah. But that is not an excuse to keep living in sin like so many, not all, but so many so-called believers do today. They say, I accepted Yeshua so I can do whatever I want to do. That is not the message of Yeshua. And some of you might disagree with me, but if you want to keep looking for loopholes and keep thinking, well, it's okay for me to sin on purpose on a regular basis because I said a couple of words and I accepted Yeshua as my Messiah, so He allows me to go living my life in sin on purpose on a daily basis. Well, if that's the case, you know, why don't you go out there and go steal and rob and don't treat your parents with honor and go commit adultery and all this other stuff? Who says it's wrong? If you have accepted Yeshua as your Messiah, everything's fine now. You know, no, He's given us the way to live, and He told us what we could do and so on. And He's given us a principle behind each Scripture. For those of you out there that say, oh, so now we got to go following the Scriptures 100% or we're not saved, I'm not saying that, folks. We're saved, but again, because we're saved, we should be following the guidelines and instructions of our Creator. We should have a desire to do, because we said His words are so important. He is Messiah. He is who He says He is. We should desire to follow His ways and no one else's ways. And if you're not doing that, you have a conflict, a major conflict. Why do you accept Yeshua as Messiah and not choose to live the way He told you to live? And for those of you out there that say, He didn't tell me I have to follow Torah, or He didn't tell me I have to follow the guidelines and instruction of the Scripture, well, I don't know what Bible you're reading, but He certainly didn't tell anyone, well, now that you've accepted me, you can go and do whatever you want and throw out the rest of my Bible because it means nothing. As long as you've accepted me, anything you do is right and anything you do is the way you want to live, and that's perfectly fine because you've accepted me. No, that's not what He said. As a matter of fact, that's a New Age concept of thinking, to think, well, everything is great because I made one claim and I could do whatever I want. That's more New Age than Scripture. That's not what the Scriptures say. The Scriptures do tell us we are to be followers of the way, and that is the way of Messiah. And that's the bottom line, folks. And, read your Scriptures. That's what I have to say. And if you want to question that, don't give me some New Covenant Scriptures that you're taking out of context. You read your Scriptures from Genesis all the way through, and then you tell me if what I'm saying is not right or not, or correct or not. It certainly is. That's what it says in the Scriptures. It's not my way. I'm not my thinking. The Scriptures clearly say that. Yeshua told us to follow Torah. He's a living Torah. He fulfilled Torah, but He didn't do away with Torah. Torah means guidelines and instructions of our Creator. It doesn't mean law, and everyone is accountable for it. If you think, well, you're not part of the Jewish people, so you don't got to keep Torah, well, hello, your Messiah that you claim to love is Jewish, and you're following Him, and He told you to follow His ways, and He's following the so-called Jewish ways. They're not Jewish ways. They're ways of the obedient people. So if you're obedient, that's what you do. You follow the way of our Creator, the way He wanted us to live, told us to live, and He gave us the reasons why to do that. So we know He is who He says He is, and we are blessed. Remember, the Bible has blessings or curses. You can't have both at the same time in your life. You have one or the other. You are blessed for obedience and cursed for disobedience. Bottom line. So you make your choice what you want to do. Remember, the Scripture says, many are called but few are chosen. Well, what it really says in the Aramaic is many are called but few choose. We all have a choice, and I pray that you choose the life of following the way of Torah, the following the way of Messiah, and not following the loopholes of the church today. If you have any questions or comments, post them below the video. Until then, everybody, have a great day, and shalom, shalom.
Come out of the world, oh my people, seek the truth, avoid the evil, learn Yahweh's ways, Torah Life Ministries, come out of the world.